It's game day here at Locked On UCF. Time to see how JSU and UCF match up.
You are Locked On UCF, your daily podcast on the UCF Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on in to Locked On UCF, your daily UCF podcast. I'm your host, Mike G. Turn us on, turn us up, we'll turn it out. I'm here with my good friend, James Duncan, UCF sports commentator extraordinaire, here for our first pregame show of the year. UCF takes on Jacksonville State in the season opener here. We're going to do a few things on today's pregame show. The game is later tonight, so if you're watching this, we've got a few hours before game time. But we're going to talk about matchups to watch. Then we will talk about who will be him for UCF, and then give our number one reasons why we think UCF will win this game. Let's start at the top here. James, matchups to watch in this one. It's going to be interesting. Charles Kelly has taken over as head coach for JSU this season. The former Auburn co-defensive coordinator is looking to mount a strong defensive opposition to what UCF is going to try to do offensively in this one. For my first matchup, I'm looking at Paul Rubel versus those JSU rushers off the edge. Rubel looks to anchor an offensive line. Earlier this week, that Scott Frost said, we're not going to shuffle guys around depending on who's quarterback, because they've got some guys who are right-handed, left-handed there in that QB room. He said, I don't want to do that. I don't think that's fair to those guys. But if you're Paul Rubel, they're looking at him to help steady the ship on offensive line and make sure that UCF is protecting Cam Fancher, which is going to be really important for him starting at QB here for UCF. What do you think about Paul Rubel versus the JSU pass rushers?
I think Paul Rubel is going to be a sneaky NFL guy this year. I think he will be able to handle it pretty easily. I think one of the main things is that UCF's line in the past couple years, they haven't been horrible, but they haven't been great. It's kind of been this mediocre unit. I would love to see them get back to top 20, 30, 40 maybe in the country in pass pro. They're usually phenomenal in run blocking. I just would really love us to be really good and UCF be really good in pass pro this year. I think it would for sure help our quarterbacks out. In terms of this JSU edge rusher unit, it's filled with a couple transfers. I think they might have one or two guys returning. But I would look for there to be minimal sacks this game.
Yeah, look, keep him upright, right? Give him time to go through his progressions and then use that athleticism from time to time. But I think, if they can establish the run, get some push up and control the game, what I think Charles Kelly is going to try to do this game is going to try to make Cam Fancher beat them with his arm. And so if UCF can establish the run, JSU doesn't have a shot in this one. That's just my personal, and that's not writing them off. It's not meant to be disrespect. It's just the fact. If you're going to let Myles Kelly and Jay Nixon do what they want to do in this one, you're not going to have much of a chance to beat this UCF squad if you're Jacksonville State. Give me another matchup, man, for fans to watch here tonight.
Something that I think is going to be really interesting is Clint Trickett's air raid offense versus this new revamped UCF secondary. You've got two transfers from FAU, two transfers from Syracuse. You've got Antoine Jackson returning. You've got the Henderson brothers returning, Jacurri and Damari. You've got a pretty revamped secondary this year that I might say is one of the best talent-wise secondaries in the Big 12. I'm saying it early. I think these guys are going to get a bunch of turnovers. I'm putting it at minimum 2 picks for this first game.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm throwing up a high number out there for the amount of interceptions, but I think it's going to happen. You've also got Braden returning. They've got a big secondary unit. Bunch of playmakers out there. I would look for Clint Trickett to pass the ball quite a bit. And when you put the ball in harm's way, oftentimes it goes the other way. So I would look at this new revamped secondary against this potentially air raid offense.
I love that one. Braden Marshall versus the JSU wide receiver group. Again, we talked about him earlier this week as being a guy who will potentially, anchor that line. I'm sorry, that back end of the defense there, a defensive back. He got hurt. He's bounced back. They praised him. I think I still have the graphic here. Here we go. So here's what UCF has at corner and safety. We talked about that. We put the nickels in with the linebackers when we reviewed this earlier this week. But you got Braden Marshall there at nickel, Christian Peterson backing him up. Then you got Antoine Jackson, who projects to be the other potential star at corner on this defense. And then Jaden Williams there at safety. These guys should be pretty good this year. I think this, before we move on, I think this team matches up well with Jacksonville State. And I think that, these matchups are more favorable to UCF than they are to Jacksonville State by a long shot.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think a little juicy detail that UCF fans might hold on to a little bit is transfer out Traquan Feggins from last year, transfers out of UCF to Jack State and makes a starting roster spot as a corner. I know there's no returning pass catchers from last year, so there might not be any animosity, but I know that UCF fans will hold on to any animosity that they can get a hold of. So potential matchup there.
Before we get to the break here, we're going to talk about who is going to be him for UCF in this one. I can't wait to see who's going to be the star performer. We'll talk about that right after a quick word from our sponsors. This episode of Locked On UCF is brought to you by our friends at Upside. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up, free with the Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code FOOTBALL and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year from buying the gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. I know James uses this as well too. So guys, this is really legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out at any time straight to your bank account, PayPal, an e-gift card, or even Amazon or other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code FOOTBALL for a limited time 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's promo code FOOTBALL. Look, offers may vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. This episode of Locked On UCF is also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. This college football is back. Now, I couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, it's all nothing like it. Let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel more like a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. I pulled up the Game Time app, and in just a couple taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite college football games as low as $25, depending on where you're at. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms apply. That's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Guys, we also need your help. We got a survey here at Locked On, and we need feedback from you. So we want to hear from you. We put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcasts even more enjoyable than they already are for you. So look, you can take the survey at lockedonpodcast.com/surveys. And we're incentivizing you to do this. Everyone who completes the survey will be entered in for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping us out. James, let's jump back into the conversation here. Who will be the player of the game when it's all said and done for UCF? On today's show, we're going to highlight our potential star performers. I'm going to let you go first, my friend. Who do you got? Who's the standout week 1, game 1?
This is going to be one heck of a pick.
Okay, all right. I love this.
Give me Wayen Charles, the true freshman at wide receiver. I truthfully believe that he will make a very large impact this year on this team. I think he's going to be a true freshman standout.
Wayen Charles, he's got, I even had a graphic ready for Wayen Charles at the Y1, the true freshman wide receiver, will be him for UCF, says James Duncan. All right. Look, if you're calling for him to be player of the game, I got to hold your feet to the fire here. What's the stat line on Wayen in this one?
Stat line, I'm going to go 2 touchdowns.
2 TDs?
I'm going to say 143 yards on 7 or 8 catches.
Wow. That is a high amount of bug coming here from James Duncan. 143 yards. That's a very specific number.
I can feel it.
143 yards, 2 touchdowns. On how many catches?
On 7 or 8 catches.
7 or 8 catches? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You guys heard it here first. Look, hit the comments after the video. Let us know what you think of James's prediction. Look, I'm going boring here, but hear me out. My player of the game is Myles Montgomery. And I'm going 160 yards on the ground for Myles and potentially 3 TDs. Ooh. Scott Frost has talked a lot about Myles, this offseason and the opportunity that exists for him, being in the shadow of somebody like RJ Harvey and finally getting his shot. Then I think that he wants to give Myles a chance to prove that he can be the guy. So look, I like Jaden Nixon and what he brings to that running back room, but I think there's something about guys who stick around and do what Myles is doing. So in my mind, I think it's Myles Montgomery. Now, before we move on and we'll give our reasons for why we think UCF is going to win this one, I do have to ask you, if there was an outlier, right? Like another outlier, who would be your player of the game? And I want to go on the defensive side of the ball. Is there a guy out there on defense that you think might steal the show in this one?
Well, one, I'm glad you mentioned Myles because Myles was my backup for that. So I had a feeling you were going to pick him, so I went with an alternative pick. On the defensive side of the ball, man, this is I don't know which way to go here because I think that there's all like the normal picks I feel like would be like Nigel Leak, John Walker, Braden Marshall, but I want to go with a transfer, but I'm going to pick 2. And I think that Lewis Carter from Oklahoma, I think he's going to make a big difference. And I think that Philip Dunham. Give me Philip Dunham at safety. I think he's going to make a big difference as well.
Yeah, I wanted to go, like you mentioned, Nigel Leak Kelly. Nigel Leak was going to be at the top of my list on defense, but I also think that they're going to rotate a bunch of guys on defense. I like Sincere Edwards to potentially have a big game as well, too. So we'll keep an eye on those guys. Look, man, somebody's got to win and somebody has to lose this one. Who's going to win and who's going to lose? I think UCF's going to win. JSU's going to lose this one. But we're going to talk about why we think UCF is going to win right after a quick word from our sponsors. This episode of Locked on UCF is brought to you by our friends at Supply House, guys. Look, when the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts for a fast project? Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. The Part Finder tool and the 3D schematics save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. Their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the whole process smoother. Join the free Trademaster program today and score serious points like priority shipping, lower prices, and dedicated support lines. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com and code SHCollege5. Real people, real service. Supply House. James, why will UCF? What's the number one reason UCF will win this one? To close this segment, look, man, I'm going to go first here. This is going to sound dangerously arrogant, but they're just better. They're better than JSU. And Scott Frost is back, which means hope is back. Now, I've monologued this. I've talked about this repeatedly, and I hope that it holds true this season. But hope is such a powerful thing. The loss of hope inspires coaching changes, right? It kills team morale. It completely destroys programs when hope is absent. I said this before. I'll say it again. UCF fans died a slow death under Gus Malzahn, and it ended with their feeling like there was no hope. 4-8, man. When there's no hope, you lose games that they should have won, like Iowa State. You lose games that they should have won, like ASU. They had enough talent last year to be in those games, and because there was no hope at the end of games, they lost games that they could have won. There were at least 3 wins out there that could have got this team well into a bowl game. When you lose hope, you lose a lot. And Scott Frost is bringing hope back to the bounce house here. I think we see that on display in game 1, and that's the reason why I think UCF wins this game. Yes, they're a more talented team, but hope is back in the house, man. Like, fans are in the comment section. It's crazy. Fans are scared to let themselves hope because of what happened last season. They're saying, oh, we can't overlook this opponent. We can't overlook anybody. And people are so down because they're jaded from what happened for 4-8. And I'll tell you, I've been a fan of a team that's been 3-9. And hope took that team to a national title the very next year after a 3-9 season with largely the same players.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hope is a powerful thing, man. And I want, if we amplify anything from this channel, it's that, hope in Scott Frost is not misplaced. I mean, he's proven he can do it in Orlando, and I like what I'm hearing coming out of the program. Some of my sources are telling me that they're doing a really good job kind of adapting to what today's college football is, understanding the landscape has changed since 2017. So while there were some things that they do that are effective, they are open to the things that may need to be effective now, which I think is going to be a strength for them as the season plays out, man. Talk to me. Number one reason UCF will win this game.
I think, truthfully, the number one reason that UCF will win this game, these guys are going to come out fired up. Now, granted, after spring and summer and fall, you're ready to hit somebody else. I think nobody is more ready to hit somebody else than the UCF players. It's all they talk about. They're like, we just want to hit somebody else. And the second that you go against a guy wearing a different color than you, it's game time. It's game time. So I think these guys are going to come out fired up. But I want to name a specific unit that I think is going to win us this game, and I think it's going to be the secondary. I'm really high on this secondary, Mike. I think the secondary is going to provide us a much needed boost that we've been searching for a while. We've had talent in the secondary, but they've never particularly won us any UCF any games in the past, however many years. I think the secondary this year is capable of doing that.
I do too, man. Look, the game is on in a few hours. We'll be all in front of our TVs watching this one. Andrew Gluchov will be there live reporting for us for Locked On UCF and UCF Night Zone, where you can find our written work. James, I want to thank you for joining us on today's show to talk a little UCF football. We'll be back with the post game later tonight, hopefully celebrating what we see, but we'll see how it goes. Guys, that's it for another great edition of Locked On UCF. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of every single day. Don't forget to fill out that promo, that survey for your chance at a $100 gift card there. I'm going to put the banner up here just so everybody has it as we close the show. Look, for your next listen, go check out our friends at the Portal Show. Our guy Brian Smith has the latest in portal signings, rumors, all the going-ons in college football right there in one place. You can find the Portal Show on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. And you can find us here later tonight on Locked On UCF.